Hey guys, John here. Today we're going to be walking through my recent expansion called Corrosive. Now, most of these are going to be sequences. There are a few leads in here, but mainly this whole pack is going to be sequences. So the first one is going to be Acid Man. Let's check this guy out. Yeah, that one's a lot of fun to play. So next up we have Aggro. And the next up we have Acid, and look how I spelled that right there, all right? You know what I'm saying? That one's a lot of fun. And next up we have Bleed. So yeah, that one's pretty cool. I also added a free play button if you want to use that. Or you can go with the sequence. It's really up to you. So yeah, this next one is called Build It. And the cool part about this one, so we have a drum pattern and we have an acid pattern. So if these are all the way to the left here, we kind of have that just simplistic rhythm, and then you can start building on it, which is hence the name. So we can start increasing the drum pattern. And we have macros for the drums and the pulse bass. So and then you can groove to that. So yeah, next up we have Dark Ratchets. And I also put a little acid knob here to kind of make it a little bit crazier. Yeah, and there you go. Next up, we have dark tapping. Now, this one originally started off as an ARP, but putting some drums behind it and that kind of thing was kind of cool. So here we go. And we have stuff for filter, for glide, sidechain, and we have stuff here for the ARP, which I'll show you in just a second. And over here on the macro 2 page, we have the bass and then the drums. So if you don't want to use the drums, we can just toggle this off here. And then a level for the bass. And then we have the sidechain, which actually kind of works nicely with the drum. So let's turn this back on, also with the bass as well. we have that here. Next up, what's kind of cool is, so if we turn these off, these other two buttons here are kind of interesting. So we have this here. We can kind of do that. So maybe you can do something like that, maybe half a bar before the next part comes in, or we can go to 64, which is also kind of crazy. And these are switches, as you can see, the SW here, so you can't both have them on, so it's toggle either or. But yeah, that's just an interesting little feature there. But everything together, once again, with some sidechain. All right, so next up we have Formant. Next up, we have Jump. I don't know, maybe it feels like you want to jump or something. I don't know. Yeah, there you go. Next up, we have Leather. Now, this one is meant to be played, so you have the sequence, you have the drums going, you kind of have this weird voice and the whole groove thing. But there's also the lead that you can play up here at the top, this thing, where we first started playing. And that's on a macro here. So you can kind of mix that in how you want to. But yeah, here's the idea. But yeah, that one's kind of cool. So this voice is kind of an interesting one here, which is going out FX3, which is this. So the vowel filter is doing kind of a lot of the heavy lifting, just a weird kind of creepy voice there. Yeah, that one was a lot of fun to make. Next up, we have Ohnmacht. Let's double click that. So yeah, that's these so far. Now, this whole time we're on 120 BPM. Now, these can really go a little bit faster or a little bit slower. Maybe I'll say a range between 115 to maybe 140 for some of them. So they kind of have a good wiggle room, I suppose. So next up, we have Parallel Worlds. Now, this one to me seems like you could play this one more a little bit slower. So let's try maybe 110, see what that would feel like. Now, what's kind of really fun about this one here is we have this sweep kind of going over here. And this one's going to ARP 3 and yeah, this one over here. So we have multiple different patterns kind of going through this to kind of just really lengthen this whole thing out. But it's kind of cool because it gives it a little bit of a kind of like an interesting thing, like a little filter sweep in the background that just makes things, yeah, interesting. So pay attention to that here. And then this one right here is going to be down 5 semitones, which is kind of cool. So yeah, that one is a lot of fun to play. So next up we have quantized techno. Let's maybe bring this back up to 120 or so. The sync gets crazy for this one here as well. But yeah, that one is also a lot of fun to play. And the last sequence here we have is a siphon. And as always, let's drop the beat. Like you just want to move to that one, right? Get ready. It's like the corners of your mouth kind of go downwards, you know, when you have that stank face going on. And we also have a free button to play as well. If you want to do that, I personally think the sequence is a little bit cooler. But that's up to you. So we also have some leads. I'll probably just show you one of my favorite ones here. I'll leave the rest to surprise. But this dirty square, for some reason, I just kind of liked the dirtiness of this square. We can make it really nasty with that FM dial as well. So yeah, so these are some of the sequences. I spent a lot of time really kind of tuning these in. They're a lot of fun to play. One of my personal favorites, I would say, was Dark Ratchets here, because there's so much going on and just how everything's kind of moving the stereo field, all the effects, kind of the banks and all that thing going on. So yeah. Oh no, we have two more. I didn't scroll all the way down. So yeah, there's more. But wait, there's more. We have Wacky. Here we go. And the last one is going to be warehouse. Yeah, that one's kind of interesting. The whole thing kind of keeping this thing together is this quantum effect, just the weird sounds going back and forth and the delays. Kind of like that grinding kind of sound. There you go. We're going to leave it on siphon because this is probably another one of my favorites. But yeah, there you have it. So this is Corrosive. Again, this is kind of, I don't even know again or not, but it's basically inspired by just acid, maybe some EDM-ish, some groovy things, and distortion, and kind of just, I guess, my specialty, I suppose, because I like nasty sounds. But yeah, that's it for this pack here. If you want to get it, there's a link in the description below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.